Assalamualaikum. Welcome to this video tutorial on Windows Phone 8 for students at King Faisal University and for others who want to learn mobile app development. This is part 18 in this series entitled Isolated Storage File for Windows Phone 8 App Development using C#. There are two ways of maintaining a database in Windows Phone 8. One is via storage and the other is by local database. In this tutorial, we will be focusing on the storage. The storage stores data virtually that only an application has access to. To understand it better, we will now proceed with our activity. In this activity, we will use isolated storage file, allow a user to enter a text, and click a button to write it in an isolated storage file stream. We will also provide a second button that when clicked will display in a text block the contents of file.txt. Let's create a new project. We'll call it app18_1. Unlike in our previous tutorial, we are not going to create a text file because this time the text file will be created virtually. So let's first change our page titles. Let's make it app18_1 and the page name to ISF. Let's go to the content panel and add our controls. We need a text box, two buttons, and a text block. Let's see it. Yeah. Let's put our first button down, our second button, and our text block. Okay, let's try to rename our controls. Our text box, we'll make it tbx1, and let's remove the text. Our first button, let's make it btn1, and its content, let's change it to write to file.txt. Our second button, let's name it to btn2, and its content to read from file.txt. And our text block, let's name it to tbk1. Okay, we're now ready. Let's double click our first button. Okay, first we have to use system.io because we're going to use a stream writer and a stream reader. And also we have to use system.io isolated storage there. Okay. Now we can proceed with our button procedure. Let's define first our isolated storage file. Let's call it ISF is equal to isolated storage file there dot get user store for application. That's it. Okay, now this button is for writing, so there, stream writer. Let's call it w is equal to new stream writer. So this time we have to call our isolated storage file stream there to define our file there, and the file mode should be open or create. So that means it's going to create the file every time we're going to run it. Then we are going to write line whatever is inside text box 1, and then we can close it. Okay, let's also put a message box to say that data was written to file. Okay. But this is for writing. We have to proceed immediately to reading so that we can verify that we have all really added information to the file. So let's double click read file for text. That's the second button. So this time again, we're going to create our isolated storage file. It's called ISF is equal to isolated storage file dot get user application. Now we have to use try catch. This is for stream reader. Call it R is equal to new stream reader new isolated file stream isolated storage file stream there, and again we have to name it file.txt, the same file, and this time the file mode will be to simply open it, and our variable for that is ISF. Okay, let's declare a variable content. This will contain the contents of the file. Let's read them all together at one time. Let's use read to end there. Read to end. And we'll put them all inside text blocks 1 dot text is equal to content, and then we can close it. So for our catch, let's just display a message box to see that the file was not found. Okay, so let's try to run it. Okay, so here's our off. Let's first type kfu, write to file.txt, data was written to file. Now let's read from file, kfu. Let's change our data. Let's make it CCSIT. Let's write it to the file, write it to file, and then let's read from file. Currently what we have before is kfu. Now it's CCSIT, so that means that kfu is already gone. Okay, stop it. Let's try to run it again. And let's read from file. There, it's still CCSIT. So that means it's the file is virtually saved in our app. Okay, so this time let's change the file mode. Instead of open create, let's make it append. Let's try to run it again. Okay, so if I read from file, there is CCSIT. We're going to write another one, ABC. Write to file, data was written to file. Let's read from file. So now there are two because it's appending, it's not creating again the file. Let's try 1 2 3. Write to file, data was written to file, read from file. So that's the difference between append and open or create. But let's return it to open and create. We will continue with our app, but this time we will write the numbers 1 to 10 in file.txt. Then we will read the contents and display the value multiplied by 2. So first, to write the numbers 1 to 10, we have to go to our first button. And let's declare a variable x that will start at 1. And well, x is less than or equal to 10 because it will be after 10, and then increment is x plus plus. We're going to write line the value of x, and then for the reading, We'll change this to nothing, and before we close it, we'll make a loop using while. So this time it will be while not our R is at the end of stream. We will do this. First, let's increment our okay, no, sorry. First, we try to get the value. Let's make it a content, but because it's a string, we have to convert it to an integer. So we have to convert to int 32 whatever is in the line. Let's read it line by line. So let's read line. Now we're ready to put it in the text block. That text. So it will be the first number and then the second number. We will continue to add them. So it should be plus equal. Let's make a statement for it. Twice of the number content is, we have to multiply content by 2, and we have to put a new line to separate the doubles, the numbers. Okay, I think it's class. Let's try to run it. Okay, there's an error. Integer content, because this is already content, we have to delete this one. Don't need this anymore. Okay, let's try to run it again. Write to file. Okay, data was written to file. That means numbers 1 to 10. Now let's try to read from file. Okay, twice of 1 is 2, up to twice of 10 is 20. So congratulations, we just finished using isolated storage file for Windows Phone 8. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Mas salama.